Let's do Taboo.
This show screamed BBC Two, but it was on BBC One.
Stars Tom Hardy. He's come back from Africa. His father's died. Everyone said, "Oh, he's died." He was mad before he died. He bequeathed a spot of land in the Americas to his son, but everyone else is after it.
I'll speak plainly. Your father drew up a will of which I am executor. In it, you are his only heir. But James, if you came home expecting fortune, there is none. The only legacy is a poisoned chalice. Well, it's a small strip of coastline directly on the other side of the world, which your father held by treaty with the Nootka tribe, a wasteland. If America were a pig facing England, it is right at the pig's arse.
There's his half-sister, played by the very lovely Una Chaplin. There's a suggestion that they had a relationship at some point. That, some secrets are best kept buried and all that. Jonathan Pryce's room of exposition, where he tells us all about every character and their what they're like, what people think of them, why they're needed in the show, what their relationships are. It's very helpful. But he's the head of the East India Company who wants.
He would be that guy in the corner of the screen, like Gary needs.
He's the narrator, isn't he?
Yeah. He seems to like to swear every. If someone doesn't give him the correct answer straight away, he will get a bit louder.
He's like Paxman at University Challenge. Come on.
He'll ask a question, and then someone says, "No, I'm not going to answer." So we'll ask the question again, but put an F word in there and raise his voice.
Open the envelope.
Yeah. As the late Mr. Delaney's lawyer, I attended the funeral. And a ghost appeared. A son we all thought dead in Africa.
James Keziah Delaney. Mr. Wilton, I asked you to do some digging.
Which I have done, sir, and most entertaining it has been. In temperament, he takes after his mad mother. She was committed as a resident of Bedlam.
Just stick to what we know about the boy.
So, at the age of 11, his exhausted father and new bride put his son in as a cadet at the East India Company Military Seminary in Woolwich, the year of our Lord 1798.
Delaney's son was a company boy?
And, Sir Stuart, odd to relate, the records show he was once in your own regiment.
Yeah. I commanded so many of the little bastards, I forget.
There is a copy of his attendance record and the year-end report.
Yeah, year-end records, too.
The necks he broke always belonged to officers. And then there is the setting ablaze of a Navy boat in an experiment with oil and mashed potatoes while drunk. And a fight with a bear in Chancery Lane. A rebellion against the cooks for bad custard started by him. And he raved about fortunes and hidden treasures. Finally, in the year of our Lord 1802, he took himself off to Africa.
And Delaney's will leaves him everything. Including Nootka.
If the will has not been read, and only Nootka is so strategic to us, why don't we just burn it?
Even if I did, the son would have natural priority over the daughter, according to Gaunt's law.
And his return was purposely, in a public way. Hardly the action of a savage.
There have been rumors about James Keziah Delaney these past 10 years. But in the file, I have put only the facts, sir, not the rumors.
What are the rumors?
Awful, and unnatural, and I'm sure untrue.
What rumors?
I really like this, but I can't really put my finger on why. I tell you what, when the end credits came up, I went, "Gosh, that was quick." In the sense
in that sort of surprised voice like that.
Yeah, it was. It was like, oh, okay.
Oh, gosh,
I
that
enjoyed
was quick.
And at no point did I go, oh, I'll just look at Twitter or look at something else. It had a kind of big budget type feel. I don't know whether that was because of Tom Hardy or whether or the setting. I don't know.
So does Peaky Blinders, I would agree.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
This was a little less sort of overtly sort of comic book, like I've said Peaky Blinders is. My issues with Peaky Blinders is that they use the modern music, and this has still got some of that sort of flashy cinematography. There was that weird sequence that he started talking to all the people in the mortuary, like all the bodies alive.
Yeah, and then there was the very kind of like voodoo-y type thing, wasn't there? When he was flashing back for Africa, there was the kind of like the sort of the witch doctors and the people coming out of the sea as well, wasn't there?
I've liked Tom Hardy in various films, but in this he just was whispering. There was a lot of whispering in this that really annoyed me.
My thoughts were different to Gary. I was like, yeah, this is good. I like this. Oh, this is a bit daft. Oh, no, this is good. I like this. Oh, no, this is a bit daft. And by the end of it, I just felt like I had no idea what the show was about. And had this been on an Amazon or Netflix and you could have watched the next one immediately, I would have, just to get because I don't feel I got a sense enough of what the story is. I will watch the next one, if only to find out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree that they haven't told you why he's back or anything about.
Well, I don't even want to know that. I want to know what the focus will be. I hope it's not all sort of wizards and voodoo and all this. I hope
it's just all a bit. And this felt like a really much a setup episode. Like a prequel, a prologue. But I didn't feel, and this is to steal a Luke line, that there was any character really that jumped out at me, that I could sympathise with, that I could root for, that I could, that I liked, and I was left at the end. I was going, it's really well acted, it's really sort of good to look at, but it left me a little bit cold, if I'm honest.
I won't give up on it this soon because I did a similar thing with Peaky Blinders and.
Yeah, I think
regretted that immediately, so I will be keeping up with this. What can we just talk very briefly as telly nerds about the impetus for putting this on Saturday night? Because, as I said in the review I wrote, it was sat in the schedules somewhere between really brave and completely bonkers to put this on after Casualty.
Do you think, though, to play devil's advocate, most people care?
I don't think they do. I don't think.
Not who are listening to us now.
Ask the question. Hold on, ask the question.
Mr. and Mrs. at home in front of their telly.
Mr. and Mrs. I've got Sky Plus. I can record it and watch this anytime I want.
I do agree. It's very brave to put something like this on because it doesn't fit any kind of natural mould for BBC to put it on at 9ish or so. This is, as you say, between Casualty and the news and Match of the Day. But I applaud them for doing this because it is something different. I think that audience is out there. That's why I said this screams BBC Two, because I think a few years ago this would have been stuck on BBC Two on a weeknight.
Are we going to all watch the second one just to get a better feel?
I think I might.
There's Matt being his normal committable self.
He's on to his next.
Again, Mr. Full-time job over here.
Not on a Saturday night.
Yeah. No one's buying stamps on a Saturday night. I'll trust you.